Hey everybody, welcome to Artist Soapbox. Artist Soapbox is a podcast featuring Triangle area artists talking about their work, their plans, their manifestos. I am your host, Tamara Kassane. This is an Artist Soapbox snackable, a bite-sized piece of a longer podcast episode. If you'd like to hear the entire conversation with Lormarev Jones about the artist hustle, MFAs, and self-care for artists, follow the link to episode 24 at artistsoapbox.org. What do you work on when you are working with high school students on choreography? What are you focusing on in addition to just learning the steps?
I am showing them that what they perceive as dance is one option of what dance is, but it is not the whole story. I did not come to dance early. You meet dancers who have been dancing for their whole life. They've been dancing, since they were 3, they were putting those ballet shoes and they've done it ever since. And that's one path to dance. I didn't start dancing till I was 14, and I did not take dance, at a traditional private studio. I took dance at church. Mm-hmm. My church was super liberal here in Raleigh, and they had a performing arts program. So I took ballet, jazz, modern. There was a mime class at this church.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. And we did productions, but not the type of typical church productions that you would assume. Like we did do, one at Easter and one at Christmas, but it wasn't like, let's recreate the nativity. It was, let's have this mime piece that's about, how the church is getting away from itself. And like, let's have this modern dance piece that's very abstract about, about the birth of Christ. So I had a very different introduction to dance, traditional dance training than anyone else. But what I'm trying to impart to these kids is that they walk to school every day. They make choices about movement every day. And no, it's not a tour jeté or a piqué turn, but you're making movement choices. Mm-hmm. And those movement choices can translate to performance in musical theater. Whenever I meet new young people that have never worked with me before, because I can come off as a little bit intimidating. I always say, I'm only going to ask a few things of you. I'm going to ask that you don't say I can't do that. It's very possible that you could be correct, but I don't want to hear it until you've attempted. And you walked here, so you're already a dancer. You walked in here. You are capable of more than what you think you're capable of, which I think is really important for young people to hear, because they don't really hear that anymore, at least not in my experience. So those are the things that I request of them, and that they ask questions and that they listen to other people's questions, because that's how you learn. So that's sort of my teaching choreography in schools pedagogy, and it's been pretty effective. It just seems like such a frivolous thing. That's what I spent my Martin Luther King Day doing. We had a 4-hour rehearsal, and I was teaching, I taught the opening number to Cabaret, which is Welcome In, and I taught them Most of Money. And these are kids that are giving up a day that they have off. They're rehearsing from 10 to 2 on their 3-day weekend, which indicates to me that they really want to be there, that they really want to learn. And that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to remind them that this is supposed to be fun. It's called a play for a reason. But that there are skills that they can take into any field. I mean, choreography is really just problem solving. I got all these people in a room. I want them all to look as though they are in sync and rehearsed and polished, but they have different skill sets and they have different ways of learning. And I need to make them a cohesive unit. How can I do that? What are the tools that I can use to do that? And that's whatever job you're going to get, you're probably going to be problem solving to some degree. And I think it's good for students of theater to know that early on.
When we were having lunch a couple of months ago.
In September.
Yes, in September. You also mentioned that you talk with young people about how to care for themselves as artists. I think you told me a story about how you always push apple eating on the young people for their vocal health. Was that what it was
that
for?
Is, exactly.
Why is that important to you to impart to the young folks?
From personal experience, I went to grad school and I burned myself out, and for a while associated it specifically with art making, and just thought, I can't do this anymore. I may never do this again. Like, if this is what it's going to require of me, I don't know that I'm capable. There's a lot of cliches in what I'm about to say. You only get one body, but you really do only get one body. And, you can recover from that, but it's so much better if you just devote time and space and mental capacity to saying, I am going to do these things for myself so that I can make the best work that I can make. And these kids, I mean, even when I was in high school, I was not so focused on what am I going to major in college? Where am I going to go to college? All of these extracurricular activities that I'm juggling in addition to this play I'm doing. I was like, I don't understand how they manage. And so I'm just, again, trying to give them tools now that they can take and, they can pick and choose what they want, what works for them and what doesn't. And so I just try to impart everything that I've learned about how to take care of your body, but especially because I specialize in musicals, and how to keep your instrument safe. I was in my mid-20s when I learned Hall's, cough drops, or any kind of cough drop, they just numb your throat. They don't really get rid of the problem, or, they get rid of the cough temporarily, but they just numb your throat so that you're not coughing. Right. So if you sing while right after taking a cough drop, like, you could be doing damage that you don't even feel yet. I didn't know that until I was in my mid-20s. And if I didn't know it, like, why would any of these kids know it? Right. And so just simple things like that give them an awareness, which is like what I am devoting my life to. It's just awareness about everything that you can be aware about. It's just saying, yes, drinking water is very good, but you know what else is good for your voice? Especially if you have, the bladder of an infant like I do, is eat an apple. Apples provide moisture. They're a carb, which means that you're also going to be energized. Apples are also a good option. Are they my favorite thing to eat? No. But if you find an apple that you like, any of those apples are really good for moisture, for carbs, for antioxidants. All of that's good. And that's going to help your body. And so if I can get 5 kids that, eat an apple a half an hour before the show, like, they're just going to be better off. Just simple, basic, digestible, pun, things like that they can take with them into whatever life they choose. Like, this is a way that I can take care of myself. I think it's just so important because these kids are just like, they're on a race to the finish line, and I really don't know how they do it.
Artist Soapbox is a listener-supported podcast. Please support the podcast via our Patreon page, patreon.com/artistsoapbox. For more information, go to our website, artistsoapbox.org. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. All of this information is in the show notes. Artist Soapbox music is composed by Bart Matthews. Thanks so much, and we're out.